So these guys, I said, are the Fung Bros. That is David and Andrew Fung. All right. Now, these Chinese Americans have been absolutely crushing when it comes to the social media era, but also spreading great positivity, giving great education on food, but also showing their love of basketball, born with a whole bunch of different celebrities from all over the globe. But before we get started on the show, let's get the intro video because I'm telling you, these guys got skills. Check this out. Mm-hmm.
Bang. Bang.
Stocky shooter. Jameer Nelson.
Do you see that calf power? Do you see the power of the calves? David, those calves might be hard for David to fit into certain pants, but they allow him to shoot from so far.
Give a shout out to Kyle Lowry, Carson Edwards, Raymond Felton, Jameer Nelson,
Jimmer Fredette.
Jimmer Fredette, especially in college, all the stocky shooters out there.
Stocky shoot. Man, I'm watching your shot and I see those two freaking machine muscles go. And when you shoot, you're actually in midair and then you do another pump and then it's a catch. Where did you learn that move?
Oh, man. I would say it's a more exaggerated version of a lot of stocky shooters have it. Like even Kyle Lowry, you see a little bit of that jackknife action. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is about the physics of this body type.
Like slimmer shooters like Steph, they gotta they have a lower set point, so they want to drive that power, right? But David can just and just launch it.
I hate that because as a shooter like me, I'm always like at the top, at the literally brim of my height. So when I get to my jump, I'm always at the peak, and that's when I release. You can come down. So when I try to defend you, by the time I'm thinking I'm gonna block you, I'm coming down, but you're then going. It's like some Kuroko no basketball move. But anyway, y'all, this is Andrew Fung and David Fung. What's going, y'all? How y'all feeling?
What up, Vince?
Thanks for having us, man.
Oh,
and shout out to everybody who's watching. I think there's almost there's a few hundred people in here right now. So
from across the globe too, man. I love it.
I mean, thank you. I appreciate you, man. So yeah, we got people all over on TikTok. We got people on YouTube, and we got here on Twitch. But I always ask this to all my guests on the show. What was the first memory that you can remember when it involved basketball?
Oh man, we had a cousin growing up, and he was actually mixed. He was like half Chinese and half Irish, and he was from Missouri. Yeah. And you know how they got that country kind of I don't know how to, I don't want to say it any other way, that country white boy, that Austin Reeves of basketball, from that side. Yeah. And he kind of gave it to us, and he had the broom out, and he was slapping the ball away when we would shoot to kind of get some of the more, that was our introduction to training.
Yeah, I think once we convinced our dad to get us a little hoop in the backyard. We just had this really small patio, but we had just enough hoop, to shoot 10-footers straight on. You don't have the sides. It's not wide enough on the sides, but you can shoot kind of free throws. I think once we did that, that was cool. That kind of launched into the whole thing. I think one of my favorite memories at a young age is going back to my elementary, even if it was after school. If I was still if I was in 5th grade, we'd go back to that elementary and hoop at the outdoor courts. And dude, that was the basketball culture was very rich for at least those several years. I love it.
Facts, man, like that. And I'm telling you, both of y'all, well, you're both 80s babies because I'm an 89 baby. I mean, we got one that's 86 and one that's 89. And I just want to first question is we got that, great history when you said you guys learned basketball when you guys were in the 80s, because I gotta admit, that's when NBA to me was the best. But how do you look at the transition of basketball, how it's evolved, watching 80s, 90s to now? Is it, again, arguments towards physicality, but how do you look at the talent and also the fouls changing and stuff like that? What's your opinion on that?
I would just say from more of a recreational angle, because we all know how it's changed on a pro level, right? Mm-hmm. But even that change on the pro level, I feel like you see it. The kids are not as much at the park learning how to play anymore. if you're an elite talent in 2023, you probably were in a gym with a trainer since you were like 5 years old.
Facts, yeah.
Right, your knees have taken very little, I'm sure some, but not that much concrete damage.
Oh, man. I mean, I would say, I've been playing pickup basketball for like so many decades of my life. So I think seeing pickup basketball changes, like we went from one era where and one was big, so everybody's trying to shake. And I think that's where a lot of us get the sham god from, and then we try to do the crossover, and then we're doing like even the illegal moves, right?
But hot sauce AO.
Yeah, from that, obviously we know that era's kind of gone away. Now it's like everybody, I don't want to say in a both bad and good way, like a lot of the kids, they play similar.
Yeah.
In a way that they're actually hyper skilled. They all got the behind the back, the snatch back, they all got the little but it does kind of look like similar.
Everybody plays like Emmanuel Quickly, I would say.
Yeah. Or Bones Highland.
Yeah.
That's
if you look at those two guys, they kind of embody, maybe Shea a little bit too, as Shea Gilchrist, they kind of embody like the new school slim guys, very, very skilled, more skilled than we were, obviously, but also like, I mean, that's how a lot of people play, I would say.
I mean, I think people don't give credit. Like Steve Francis was one of those players, again, that can get you off the dribble and the way he was crossing, I loved from Ray Allen. He was a monster, and people don't realize how deadly he was. Like people know him as shooting, but his younger years, he was doing these moves that we see right now with ease. Behind back and everything.
Would you say Ray Allen was one of the kind of the players like during our era that kind of made like pure shooting cool?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. He had the whole offensive package, right? Low key.
Exactly.
Low key, he could do everything. And it's like, before that, you had Reggie Miller, who was a crazy shooter, but Reggie didn't have all the off-the-dribble ISO stuff.
And let's be honest, like, we all love Peja Stojakovic, but it wasn't as cool when he was shooting. He was nasty, but I feel like Mike Bibby and like Ray Allen really like made you want to shoot like that.
Maybe it's like that, and also like they also weren't afraid to do the mid-range. Like they shot the three, but the way they shot, because they were just a walking bucket. I mean, even with Penny Hardaway when he was playing with Shaq, I miss those kind of players that, like you said, a full package. They're a three-tier player. They're not just shooting threes that a lot of the players right now are just doing, or going to the basket and trying to do some crazy layup or dunk. Like they knew how to get a bucket, and you're right, absolute inspiration. Like even with Dirk Nowitzki, he was a big man taking it down full court and then just draining it and lacing it, but still going off the dribble and doing reverse layups. So
I think his shot
for sure. Yeah. Like you said, with the spacing nowadays, a lot of coaches. I think the ultra elite players still have that in between, that Devin Booker mid-range game. But a lot of players are really pretty much at the rim, jelly layup, or deep long ball three. Not even foot on the lineup. We're talking about like 35
feet.
Dude, the jelly layups the kids got nowadays are crazy. You can go to any park and they're just...
Bruh, like, I remember if I did any of those layups, I'll be taking out the game immediately. My coach would be like, nah, bruh, it's 2 points. I remember my coach would get mad if I dunk. They said 2 points is 2 points. Don't dunk. But now it's getting fancy. Now people want that, and that makes the game even better. But to keep that going, like, y'all street ballers, and y'all see a lot of talent over there. I want to know your opinion when it comes to the Asian community, like in the NBA, and also just going on the courts all over the world and country that you guys have been doing. Yeah. Have you seen the love for basketball increase, and also the talent level in the Asian community increase as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were always kind of the type of guys where we were on the high school team, but we were at the end of the bench. But then I would go back to the Asian Church League and try to get 30. Yeah. So, it was kind of like going overseas, but that was like the Asian Church League. Yeah. But I was like pretty much just trying to play defense and hopefully get a leak out in the high school, or I would say I have seen it change. As you can see, like you've got the increase of role players at a high level, like a Yuta Watanabe, right?
Yep.
He's more of a basketball player. I don't know if he's like a hooper in that sense, but you have Kings of the Underground in China and this whole street ball world where people are like mixing kung fu with words. Like, have you seen that?
Yes.
Where they're literally doing. There's that guy called Soy Sauce, and I'm not even joking. There's that big beefy dude called Soy Sauce, and he's like the #1 player, but he's like humongous. He's like super tall.
What's really interesting is like in China, like since #1 took off that like a decade and a half ago or 2 decades ago, it really stuck in China, and I think. I think a lot of kids, they do play 5-on-5 and try to play basketball the right way, but just as much as that is valued, actually street ball is much bigger, and they play a lot of half court, and there's a lot of guys who got some crazy skills. I don't know how they are 5-on-5, right? We'd have to see, but as far as one-on-one, they have the smoothest spins, they doing crazy layups, and that's really what they value.
I would say especially China and the Philippines,
Facts.
When they do king of the court, it's not 3 dribble rollout. It might be like 30 dribble rollout. They want to see the crazy moves.
I will say this: some of the most like oddest or like most interesting basketball related videos I see are coming out of China or Asia in general, because that's a huge market of people that love basketball.
And I will say this: I'm not saying it's better for sure in terms of a competitive level, but they're so free in their mind. Have you seen that video from the Philippines where the dude does a whole somersault?
Yes.
I don't think I ever saw that in the West ever.
No,
they got athletic. Different types of games out there. Like everybody's playing basketball in a way. Like the love for basketball, and exactly like what we're saying. Like I don't know if they always think about it hyper competitively. Like I'm trying to be a global superstar in basketball, but they just love the game. And anything like all the different versions of the game, that's what they love. So I think in America and maybe also in Europe, like I think the 5-on-5 game is very, very valued. And that's why you get, great 5-on-5 players, to be honest, right? But
like, for example, like somebody like, shout out to Hezzy God. I've played against him before in LA, but like Hezzy God, Ryan Carter in America, I have heard real basketball players, when they got mad at him, be like, you don't make no money playing this game. You don't make no money playing this game. Like when they're like really beefing with each other. Whereas in China, the equivalent of Ryan Carter is almost like existing in a different, like nobody makes money playing the game.
It's play.
Pro, so it's like you can't really diss anybody because that's not even like
an insult. It's not.
They're not even thinking like that on the table.
Everybody's on the same thing. And also, shout out to It's Ming Osun. What's up? We're going to be on for about an hour. The Fung Bros going to be here for about another 10 minutes. Shout out to Easy Jackson. They're saying some shots right now. Again, TikTok has one chat, and then we got another chat there on YouTube. What's up, you Scotty? I appreciate you. And also, I was just going to talk about Utah, and you already got the jersey on, Drew. And I was like, how do you like that in the NBA? I mean, right now, we had that crazy explosion with Jeremy Lin and the Linsanity. But now you're starting to see some like this little pockets of talent coming from China.
Yeah, like Rui Hachimura, obviously he's half African and half Japanese, but he was raised and trained in Japan.
And also Jordan Clarkson, and Clarkson as well, Philippines.
Yeah. There's a lot of like part Asian people, and just Asian people. I think it's cool that it's normal to see an Asian role player. They don't have to all have that spark like Jeremy. That's a lot to ask for. And that's a lot to ask for Jeremy, even past Linsanity.
Yeah, even I think Jalen Williams on OKC is part Vietnamese.
Yeah, Jalen Williams is mother. And then there's some young guys. UCLA got Johnny Juzang.
Jalen Green from the Houston Rockets.
Jalen Green is part Filipino.
Yeah, Jalen Green, I love him. I love him watching play.
It's cool that I think it's going to increase. I think the amount of mixed kids are going to increase. I also think the amount of like just even full Asians are going to increase. Like Yudai Baba was a Japanese point guard. And I got to give a shout out through the Japanese system. They produce a lot of decent point guards.
Yeah, they did.
Yuta Kabuse back in the day. He kind of torched
Asian guard,
Luke Ridnour on the Sonics on our Sonic. He torched him for like 15 points. And then, I think you're just going to see it here and there, a little bit more G League, Summer League players. So who knows, I know there's some guys on Ignite. I think Fanbo Tang, he was on the Ignite for a couple seasons, but he's playing in the CBA now. I mean, it's interesting, but you can't compare everybody to Linsanity, especially.
But I'll tell you this, you go to any indoor court in like New York City or LA,
Facts.
Or you know what I mean? I'm talking about major metropolitan areas around America. They're gonna have at least one court full of Asians.
Exactly. There's always one on the ball. Because when I was in China doing a 3x3 event, I was talking to one of the CEOs of the the league, and they said straight up, they did statistics. Over 90% of Chinese people love basketball. Over 90%, and that is a 1 billion person market. You're talking about over 90% will watch the NBA, watch any kind of basketball. And as you said, you got these balls out there. It might be a height difference, but they still got skills. And that's what I want to get to the next question. You do a lot of Asian celebrity and community basketball games, and I've seen y'all cooking. Y'all been with celebrities. Is there anyone that you particularly remember that was your favorite, or just some fun memories from those events?
Oh, man, I remember Jeremy Lin did a game with Simu Liu, who was Shang-Chi and Marvel up in Toronto. In that game, to play against Jeremy and then Jeremy Lin's trainer, Josh Fan, that was really fun. I had never got to play actually against another NBA player. I actually grew up with Rodney Stuckey, though, so I remember playing with him in practices all the time. But to play against Jeremy was pretty dope in front of a big crowd.
I got to guard Jeremy on a couple plays, and I know he wasn't trying that hard, obviously, but it was like an honor, you know. And Simu Liu actually can kind of ball. Like, you know, the game looks not the smoothest, but he gets buckets. He was in the celebrity game. He hit the only 4-pointer in that whole game.
In the NBA All-Star weekend this year.
Yeah, where you're right. You're right.
Game. So I think for us, like, it's just like getting the community together and like seeing everybody and seeing how much that like we can actually throw this game. Like everybody wants to come and play ball. Even a lot of like the female influencers and creators, they want to get in on the game. So I think basketball has been like a uniter for Asian communities, whether you think about Japanese Americans back in the West Coast or Chinese Americans. Obviously, there's tons of like Asian-based leagues out here. It's such a key part, and I think like I think a lot of people don't think about it, but like Asia, like we said, they love basketball for a number of reasons.
Oh, and I think one thing I'll say this about the Asian American community, or the Asian community. I think a lot of times people's like, "Yo, I want to push my kid into swimming, equestrian, fencing, diving, tennis, ping pong, badminton, right? Like something that the kid can go pro in. But you start to realize it's almost impossibly hard to go pro in ping pong too. You know what I'm saying? And if you do miss out on going pro, you're not going to get any of the bro-ish camaraderie that you get from a sport like basketball. So if you're not going to go pro anyway, you might as well not go pro in the thing that's the most fun to not go pro in. Because I don't think swimming, if you don't make it, I'm not dissing it, is that fun if you barely miss the cut.
Yo, I'll tell you, I mean, you know a lot of comedians, and we've all met a lot of athletes of different sports. But a lot of athletes of different sports, their like second favorite sport is basketball.
Exactly. And that's what it is. Like everyone's like, we always talk about how like rappers want to be basketball players, but we know football players won't be basketball players. We know soccer players are real footballers are basketball players.
Everybody wants to pick up that basketball and just put it through the hoop. It's so satisfying. And I think it's a perfect game. We could go on and on about it, I'm sure.
I think it mixes like the individualized aspects of an individual sport with the team aspects, where it's not super team like soccer, but it's not super me. It's like you said, the perfect balance.
Right.
Exactly. And really quick, I just see we got about 4,500 people right now in the chat. If you're tuning in right now, you got the Fung Bros right here. These guys are YouTube sensations all over social media. Again, also they're ballers. They also are foodies. I'm about to get questions with that a little bit. But if you are watching, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know you're representing. Are you from the Asian community? Because this is Shots Fired episode 10. And I'm so excited for this conversation now. We're going to get into
you told everybody how you are from the Asian community, or you are part Asian community.
My 25% part Asian community is Chinese. We talked about it in our episode. I come from the Hakka. I got my grandfather thing. I got my great grandfather thing. But they know, it's so funny you say that. I just got recruited to this dynasty league in the city. So this doctor hit me up randomly, and I was like, "Yo, real quick, I want you to join my basketball team. When can you come?" And I really was like, "Yo, first of all, thank you. 2, I'm looking at him. He's a very successful doctor. I think he's a surgeon. He has like 95,000 followers. I'm like, where did you find me? He was like, "Oh, I'm just on some basketball thing. I found you. Your last name was Chang. Saw some videos. Want you to be my team?" Bet. True story. I get to his group chat. He makes a whole group chat. I'm looking at the lineup, bro. First guy, pro NBA for 2 years, NBA trainer. Next guy, 116 followers, Asian basketball sensation. And this goes bing, 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 bing. And I go, why the heck you want me on the team? I'm trash compared to these guys. He's like, "Yo, man, you part of the Asian community. Join us." So it helps a little bit. But
you on the elite Asian professional basketball team in New York City.
Bro, like, that's what I'm like. I'm looking at the squad. I'm going, yo, like, this is brolic.
What are you guys' practices like? Are you guys like throwing oops and stuff like that?
dude, I haven't met one of them yet. I have not met. They put me on the team without a tryout. I'm like,
are you gonna start? Do you know how much playing time?
Playing time? I'm probably gonna get like 4 minutes. I'm gonna be like McCollum and just basically get like 3 minutes and then win the dunk contest with the trampoline or something. But I'm excited. But yo, with this right now, shout out to a follow real quick, Jesse Rubin, right now in the chat. Again, let me know where y'all watching from. I did have a question because you said straight up like how everyone, no matter what sport you are, they always want to get that basketball and drain the three. I want you guys to put these categories in order, okay? From least to best feeling, okay? Basically, what's best? You know, landing a great punchline on stage as a comedian, finding a bomb new dish at a restaurant that tastes fire, or crossing someone and draining a step back three in someone's face. In order, like, what do you think is the best in y'all opinions?
Oh man, David, I don't want to give a cop-out answer, but the truth is, it would really depend on the context.
Yeah.
Like, is the crossing the person over and the step back in front of a crowd, is that punchline landing at a big show where, you know, there's Comedy Central scouts, or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
Just answer the question.
He's running for office. I understand. Yo, all right, let's do this. Everything is at the top level, as in sold out crowd, Madison Square Garden, you cross somebody up. 5-star Michelin star restaurant, that thing is bomb. And also right now, you just sold out the Barclays Center like any stand-up comedian.
All right. First of all, I think if this is a scenario.
Well, if I'm going to go to my childhood, I would say crossing them over and hitting the three because I'm in the league? Or
sold out MSG. Yeah, I'll take the crossover. But no, I got to say it. If it's like on a regular day, I think landing the punchline, man, that feels pretty good now because I'm getting old now. I could cross some little kid at the park up.
Yeah.
Right? If that's the situation, I could get him.
You can go do that right now.
Right. But to land a punchline, I feel like that feels good, man.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so that's number one for y'all. Then number two would be what? Would it be
I gotta be the crossover.
Oh, it's gotta be the crossover.
Okay, crossover.
I think it's a close 1 and 2. It's close.
They're all great though. If I could have all three things happen every day, that'd be a good life. If you could have that every day, that would be you get your dopamine rush.
And now, also got to give shout out. Right now, we have it on the left screen here. Asianology, you got it at Sour Mouse. You're getting some great comedians. Thank you so much. I was able to be on the show. I watched the video. I appreciate it. I'll let you go. I'm not going to post it because I think I cursed way too much. I thought I was Samuel L. Jackson. Like that. I was like, God dang. And you guys found like a little bit to post on social media. But right now, Asianology is going crazy. Let me know. You're at 3 right now. How is it feeling to open up the comedy world and with Asian folks and stuff like that?
I would say the one thing that I like about it is that you just know that the way we perceive being Asian is even different than I would say the what has been on the comedy landscape available prior. Because we kind of like we just think whatever we think is funny. I'm not trying to. And that's cool for the other shows, but I'm not trying to get comedians that I think are going to work in a mainstream context.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to craft everybody to fit what like a booker would want for like Laugh Factory. Yeah. I'm just finding what I think is funny. People just say some wild ish that's honest.
Yeah. What I love about it is like, being able to speak to people and going as deep into the culture as you want. And then we also do a little presentation at the end, as you've seen. And that is always fun because that's kind of like a internal, like if you know type presentation where we might say some stuff that we wouldn't say on YouTube. So it is a fun show. You get to be a little bit more, I would say, edgy in person at a stand-up club. There's drinks going around. We're all of age, we can handle it. And that connection that you have in person when you say something kind of harsh, but it's like, with a smile and people get your attention and they see you in person, obviously you can kind of get away with some stuff that you probably can't.
Exactly, man. But before we continue, Man Dime, thank you so much for the raid. Also for the bits. I mean, right now we're hitting up about 5,500 people. Again, if you want to know what we're talking about, this is the Fung Bros. This is Shots Fired. We're here every Friday at 6:30 EST. We talk about basketball, but we have great guests like these two. And again, they just talked about their show Asianology. Yep, and representing Brooklyn. I'm about to get to the players in just a second, but I want to give this shout out to you. If you are in New York City, follow these guys. They have amazing videos on YouTube, but also a dope comedy show at Sour Mouse. Shout out to Sour Mouse. Beautiful venue. It's in the basement. It's basically like a triad dungeon. I was very scared when I went. I'm not gonna lie. When I went there, I was like, "There's a pool table and there's artwork," but then I see someone disappear in the back, and then another Asian comes out. They don't look alike, which is also scary. But then also the staff is beautiful, and also the drinks are quite delicious. Now I want to get into the playoffs. We're talking about the NBA playoffs because that's what's going on. I have a personal opinion. If the Kings take out the Warriors, they have a chance to win the whole thing. If the Knicks take out the Bucks, but they have to win against the Cavaliers, I think they have a chance to win the whole thing. This is like the most open season of someone taking the finals. I see y'all, Brooklyn Nets fan. What is your opinion when it's coming to this year's playoff run?
I think, like you said, there's a type of parity in the league, right? Because the Warriors have been dominating pretty much, and then the years they get injured, it's somebody else popping up, right?
Yep.
But whether that's, obviously the Bucks or the Raptors and things like that. So I think right now you could say it's anybody's situation, right? But I think if the Bucks can stay healthy, a lot of people would look in that direction, right?
Exactly.
Maybe, because even the Celtics, the year they beat the Bucks, I think Middleton was out.
Exactly.
So if the Bucks are at full strength, and you know how it is in the playoffs, it's always a big if.
Yep.
I don't know. I would, I'd have to say Bucks.
I'm not gonna lie, man, and this is not being a Nets fan, but I don't know about the Knicks. But the Kings, I'll give you that, dude. If they beat the Warriors, that's gonna be, and I think they can still. I mean, it's very up in the air. But statistically, numbers. The statistics is number one seeds have the best chance.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And it's funny that we don't talk about the Nuggets. I think that's very sad. And what does that mean of what we think of? A lot of people think about the Nuggets, right? But I think Bucks or Celtics coming out of the East again. They're going to go to battle for it. And then in the West, I think the West is even more wide open than the East, in my opinion.
It is, and the Bubble Murray is back. I was a big Jamal Murray when he was balling, and he showed out the last game. And Joker is incredible. To watch him play. But
right. You said Jamal basically turned into Dame.
Yo, turning to Dame for sure. I mean, Dame time, but Jamal had that grit in the bubble during the pandemic, and we saw that college Jamal Murray come out in the NBA. And I think for some reason something turned on, because we don't talk about the Nuggets like that, because we're really looking at these upsets. I mean, I personally, again, with all the craziness going on, I thought Ja Morant would have a chance taking, the Grizzlies to the next win. But then that dunk he had with his hand going, I mean, he needs an Asian chiropractor. I think you guys have someone that can
acupuncture right now.
Acupuncture right now, just all in the hands and everything like that.
Reflexology.
That's true. And again, like we said, man, injuries, it's almost like a war of attrition. Who can stay the healthiest? Out of almost 6 teams, 5 teams, if the healthiest is just going to win.
Do you feel like this year it's almost more about offense than it is about defense? Because if the Kings go and the Nuggets go, they're both not great defensive teams.
That's true. But what we saw from Joel Embiid in the 76ers with that game-saving block, defense is key. I mean, you're going to have high-scoring games, but I think if these teams, again, like you said, if they're offensive, they can just switch it on this because they're just being lazy. I personally think anyone can defend in the NBA, but they're so worried about the stats, they're not taking that extra effort to be on defense. If they do that, that's going to be the difference between a championship and not, because you already know everybody can score. We just talked about before. Everyone's shooting from 35 feet. I mean, Dame literally had his interview, and he said straight up, the only reason why I'm shooting from the logo was because that was the only open shot I had. People were trapping him as soon as he got on top of the key. So he said, if I take 3 steps back and I can make this, why not? But now people got to start defending. I mean, DiVincenzo's crazy crossover, which I think was a carry. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was a crazy, but as you see with them crossovers there, you got people trying to defend like that. That should be through the whole game. But I see what you're saying. It's going to be more offense in the sense of it's going to be just shooting out. But I think the team that hacks into the defense, that's going to be the one that's going to take it. That's my personal
It's almost I would say a lot of the games feel like they're determined by who's really hitting their shot. I mean, who's just making their shots.
Who's hitting the deep 30-plus footers, right?
Exactly, right.
The Lakers just they lost the other night, and they just couldn't make a 3 in the last 3 minutes.
No,
they could not hit a 3, and it was almost I know that they need a 3 to stay, because the 3 kind of symbolizes that's part of a run. Because it's hard to make a whole run of only 2s. You need to
and you know what I think is like really interesting is a player like Pat Connaughton, to your point, who's willing to do all the little ugly things and fight through the screens and need people and get need on defense. If he can hit a 35-foot bomb, now Pat Connaughton is the guy who's getting no defender sent at him. Now he can drop 20 a game because he's getting no pressure on him yet.
Exactly. But on the flip side, I mean, like Looney is also that player who would do the dirty work. But I want to talk about on the Heat, and I messed up. I thought you still on the Bulls. But the Heat, Jimmy Butler is also a star that will give you 20, 30 points, but then also take the number one player on the opposite team and try to shut him down. And that's what you get as a superstar. And again, I see what you're saying, but if that any team just says, you know what, it's time for us to crack down, start defending, and prevent these kids from scoring, get in their heads, then I think that's going to take it. Well, this has been a crazy interview. I know I could hold you guys for about an hour straight, but I got to shout out some people. Fawaz, thank you so much. I see you talk about Kyrie. We got about 1,500 people there on TikTok. We got about, I think, 700 people watching right now. I want y'all to also take a shout out to this. I see y'all became basically like anime characters. I found this picture. This was dope. Everybody knows I'm a huge anime fan. Is there any projects that you're working on right now that you want to shout out to get people to see and be a part of?
Oh, we got a chili oil called Smala Drop It. If some people who know about Chinese food, they know about mala oil, which is like this like mouth numbing thing from Sichuan. We got Smala Drop It.
So that's gonna be something you can order off the internet in hopefully a month from now.
Okay.
We will start pushing it. So please,
it's gonna be a mix. It's gonna be a mixture of like
it's good
Chinese Sichuan chili oil with some more Italian, Greek. You never really see fusion before, and it's not going to be too intense because some people, they don't want the peppercorns numbing up their mouth. Check out just to show you it's real. Hold on.
Okay, it's gonna show me it's real. You're gonna show me it's real. Yo, I love spice. I love the flavor, and also when your brother gets back, I actually did something before you guys got here. Oh, we're gonna see that. Okay, this is what we're working with.
So this is not the label. These are the by the way, testers,
production samples.
But just to show you that it's really in production, we really got it. Okay.
Okay.
So we got the whole.
This is gonna taste incredible on any sort of pasta, noodle dish. Anything creamy, you can make aiolis out of it with mayo.
But aside from that, obviously still the YouTube channel talking about and giving our commentary on a lot of different topics and news and just trying to have like hard conversations, but in a fun way. And then we're doing the live comedy in New York. So we're doing something live. We're going to be selling a product online, and then we're still doing YouTube videos always. And,
gotcha. Ariel just said the players have been excited to watch this season. Absolutely. And again, if you are watching, this is a live show. We do not ignore the YouTubers in the sense of the streamers. We don't ignore the people on TikTok. We don't ignore anyone on Twitch. If you want to be a part of the conversation, don't be afraid to say something. But I did want to say this to y'all. I was looking for Fung Bro merch, and I finally found some Fung Bro merch. And my boy right there, check out these guys right now. I know some old school stuff. I saw some funny things, and I always will do this for anyone, the people that come on the show. I always want to show support. You coming on the show, I appreciate it. So what I did was that I got myself a hoodie and also your Asian Jumpman that's going to be on the back. It's going to be coming today. I just think that's the evidence right there. I can't wait to rock it, man. Of course,
VC. VC.
Yes, sir. But y'all, thank y'all for this. I got 2 more segments to do, but everyone here, follow these guys as immediately as possible. Like right now, I just see this is Andrew and David Fung. You can see them on the Fung Bros page on Instagram, also on YouTube, and also they got their own pages. They're doing fantastic work. It was an honor to have you on the show. Hope you guys have you again, and hope you have a good day, man.
It's always fun to talk about the NBA, man. We used to do a lot more content about the NBA, but we still like to talk about it. We still any chance I get, man. So love.
One last thing. I know I did this crazy like exit, but now I have one more question because we're about to hit 7,000 people. And I think people will actually love this. How do y'all feel about the refs coming out with the ejections and also letting things slide and also the physicality that's going on? Draymond stepping on people like he's ludicrous and stand up, and then you got people kicking people in the nuts, but then some people accidentally hit people in the nuts. Are you think the refs now are being favoritism to people, or it's just like they're just being sensitive and want to control the game?
I definitely think that the refs got so much stuff going on and they're trying to stay impartial because obviously that's their job. I don't believe all the NBA is rigged for gambling and FanDuel and all this stuff, all these conspiracy theories. I don't buy that. I think that if that got exposed, it would unravel everything. So that's why I don't think it's true.
Yeah.
But I will say this. There's like a lot of younger refs in the league now, and all the old guys that actually had good respect with the players, like, you know, KG and stuff like that, they're all gone and retired now. So I don't know who is like the backbone that's structuring like overarching like playoff philosophies. Because you have some series where they're calling ticky-tack, some series where they're letting things go, but then they feel like they let it go too much, where the players are fighting, and then Sabonis is grabbing his leg, and then Dre stomps him, and it makes it this big WWE thing, and then now they're throwing out all the, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like people who's not having their own backbone. So now they're so reactive to the way the crowd is, to the way the social media is, to the way the media is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas like, you need to have your own backbone, and that comes from the veteran refs to be like, yo, all the other people, the media's doing this, we here, but they being like swayed too much.
I got you.
I mean, overall, I do think the officiating is weird. It's hard for me to accuse them of anything in particular, but as long as it's weird for everybody. But ultimately, I don't love the ejections that are so quick. You know, I like some lead up to it, some hard. I think there's a lot of good hard common fouls. Like, I'm cool with giving out fouls, the common fouls, but I think when it gets to, I don't like it when something happens and then they gotta review everything for like 5 minutes and then then they bump it up.
For example, like, you know how they like kicked Harden out of the game?
Exactly.
Because they felt like they missed ejecting Embiid early, right? But the reason that they didn't eject Embiid early is because the kick missed. But also they know you kick out an MVP in the first quarter, you're shifting the entire complexion of the game. You're extending the series. You're potentially changing all the cards. So they're like overthinking it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think
they're trying to make up for it.
And that's what makes the game right now, to me, harder, because there's so many other people in people's ears because of social media, and everybody has a microphone. Like before, back in the 80s and 90s, the ref called the foul. That's it. But also there was a lot more physicality. People were getting punched in the face and still staying on the court. Like, dudes are bleeding, going, all right, cool, good foul. And this day and age is like, yo, man, come on.
I think you're seeing a new crop of NBA players and a new crop of refs.
Yeah.
So I think they haven't had a lot of time to gel. Like we said, there's no real super old refs right now.
Who can set the tone?
Who was the old short bald guy that used to he retired like 5 years ago.
Oh.
He was, I forgot the little dude that was the ref. Like he was super old. You know what I mean? And anyways, I felt like he really set the tone. I forgot his name, but like I think it's just the next generation, and they're just kind of merging. So I think it's kind of wonky. So I guess.
And you know what I mean? Like, some of the young refs, they're sensitive, and some of the young refs get punked. And then some of them, they get punked 3 times in a row, and then they're like, oh, I'm getting punked as a ref. Let me do a makeup call and over punish the next time they try to punk me.
Exactly.
And it's like, man, that wouldn't even have happened if you would have actually cut the head off of the dragon earlier. You know, you wouldn't feel like you get picked up and need to make these frustrations.
My overall take is like on the kicks and the stomps, I think that those need to be punished. But taunting, I think they need to let a little bit more taunting go.
Let it go.
I think the taunting.
Yeah,
don't just tee them up so quick. But I mean, stepping on people, that's wrong. That's wrong. But man, let them flex. Like when Nick Claxton got ejected for that was crazy.
Nah, that's good, man. But yo, this is shots fired.
I think also we have to understand that at a time there is so much media and talk that it's always easy to pick everything apart. We all still love the NBA. If we could go to an NBA playoff game right now, we would all go. And we would all enjoy it, despite what the refs did. But yes, I think, everybody has their complaints. So
gotcha, man. Yo, appreciate
people getting mad at the refs for messing up their parlay. I mean, that's 2023.
That's true. People getting mad at players. I lost $1,000 because it's like, come on, man.
Bro, gambling's gambling.
It's like your team won. They won by too much, and you took the under, and now you're mad at your own team for winning, even though you wanted them to.
Bro, don't get me started. I lost $800 in literally 4 seconds because I did a over/under 0.5 point difference because Damian Lillard hit both free throws at the end of the game when he was going to lose. So I don't gamble anymore. Like, that's what I don't do. anymore. Like, you know what? No, 0.5 points and I lose $800 within 3 minutes? Nah, bro, I'm good. But
hey, it's like you could either make $8,000 or just go to zero.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not doing that no more. But if y'all could just do something real quick for me, just say, yo, this is Shots Fired. It's the Fung Bros, and just think of that. If you guys could say that, that would be dope.
All right, you guys. Yo, huge shout out to Vince Chang. You're watching Shots Fired. This is the Fung Bros.
All right, we out. Peace.
Appreciate y'all. Have a good one, man. Thank you. Man, oh man, when I say that's one of the best interviews we ever had, that's one of the best interviews we ever had. What's going on, Ariel? I see you in the chat, and I see everyone else going on. Yo, Warriors or Kings? Keju, I literally just said this before, and this is on TikTok. I'm going for the Kings. The thing is that if the Kings take out the Golden State Warriors, they have a chance to win the whole thing. De'Aaron Fox has been absolutely amazing. You got the leading rebounder in the NBA league in Sabonis. So, woo! And you got to give to the point guard Malik Monk and also the unanimous coach of the year that we just talked about here in Shot Fired, Mike Brown.